Okay. It's just a review. It's just a review. It's just a review. Okay. Before we started recording, I've been literally sitting here for about an hour trying to think, how should I go about this? And I think personally the best way to go about this review, I don't know, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been quite hesitant because one, I've never done a 3-parter. It's not a big deal. Again, I'm not a big YouTuber whatsoever, barely like 35 subscribers at this point. It's just the fact I really love this anime series. There's a lot of detail. There's other videos out there that go way detailed than I am, but I just really want to give my 2 cents about it. And again, I gotta keep reminding myself this is just a review. It's not nothing big, nothing crazy. Especially because, again, this is only part 1. So I think the best way to go about this is how did I find out about this film? So, without further ado, welcome to Kimochi Corner. Okay, how did I find out about this film? Well, I think this is back either during my senior year of high school or I had just graduated. There was a period of time where I would go visit my cousins, and I'm really close to them, and it's crazy. Every time I go there, they always introduce me to something, whether it be music or film. Mostly film, and they'd give me a lot of crap because I say I'm a film buff, but there's so much film to watch out there, so it's kind of hard, to watch everything. But they would always show me stuff, that are like under the radar, or it's like so far over the radar. There are shocked that I have not even watched it yet. Around that time too, I was quite. I kind of didn't watch anime series anymore. I don't know. I think I just got tired of it, or like over the years, over high school, I kind of got tired of it. That's almost how much I watched of it. So I just mainly stuck to films, or if anything, I stuck to like very small anime series, very small, like Cowboy Bebop. And one day, I think we were talking about films, and he asked me, have you ever heard Macross? I'm like, what the hell is that? And then he asked me, like, have you seen Macross? Do you remember Love? I'm like, no, never even heard of it. And he just started explaining, say they're mechs, and they actually, now I think about it, it started with the toy. I think he had a figure under his bed, and it was like a jet that transformed. I was just like, what is that, like a transformer or something? And he told me no, that's how he brought up the movie. I think this was long ago, guys. But however, we were just sitting there chilling, and he pulled it up on YouTube, and this will go into this review right now. You start playing it, and again, I'll play the opening of the clip for you. Like I just saw the tagline, Macross, do you remember Love? Well, not exactly. There's a little scene before it, but just the music, the grandness, the theme was playing, and I was just like, wow, look at these visuals. Like, this movie came out in the 80s, definitely came out in the 80s, how it looks. I just love the art design, the structure of the ship. It just looked crazy. Unfortunately, though, it was I think at the same time he said, like, oh wait, there was a dub version? Because to him, he only had watched the one with subtitles, or like just in Japanese. So we started watching it. It was a very terrible dub. At that time, we thought it was a fan dub. How did we know? Anyway, after that, years went by. During this time, though, I was kind of back and forth whether to watch it, because I think at that point, Netflix had the streaming rights at that point, I think. And when he first showed me Macross, the film Do You Remember Love, he told me it was based off a series. I don't think he quite remembered if this was like, you know, after the series or if it summed up the series. Again, we found out later. It just was a movie film of the series. But at that time, we didn't know. Or he couldn't remember, I didn't know. So I was always back and forth, like, should I watch the movie, should I watch the series? Because I was always that, like,
hey, you should watch the series first before watching the film, otherwise you're not going to get the full experience.
And plus, at that time, he couldn't remember, and I didn't know if this was took place before, after, or I didn't know what it was. Especially because how it played out, like in the film, like it almost like you should know what's going on. But this whole time for years, I've just been back and forth. Until one day recently, again with what's going on, you know, things start, you know, kind of calming down. I went to go visit my cousin again. Saw his new place. You know, time has passed. You know, and he brought up the movie again. And I just couldn't shake it off my head. I'm like, okay, you know what, at this point, and again, I was so back and forth, because then at this point now, Amazon has the streaming rights for it, Amazon Prime. So, oh my god, I'm going like 4 minutes here. At this point, I was just like, you know what, screw it. It's like 36 episodes. So one movie to cover 36 episodes. I'm like, you know what, I've always tried to start with, you know, the anime series rather than the movies first. But this time I want to change the pace. I want to see if my opinion would be, you know, different than my usual, you know, because usually you would say like, okay, the series is way better than the film, or, you know, when we compare it to live action, of course. So I was like, you know what, screw it. So I literally pulled down my my projector screen, plugged out my projector, turned off all the lights, and watched it. And little did I know I would be
obsessed with this film.
Oh my god, that whole explanation took about 5 minutes. Woo! Alright guys, before I get into the story, just to give you a heads up, prior to watching this film for the first time, I actually knew a little bit about the story, but I don't want to go into deep about it, just because I want to cover it on part 2 when I talk about Macross and Robotech. So I pretty much, I actually have it on my phone, the opening text. When I watched this on YouTube, for certain reason, didn't have the subtitles of what that text said at the time. So I'm just gonna say it, you know, from the top of my head. My tablet is dead. I'm recording on my phone, so I'm just gonna have the text here. I'm just gonna try to say it, you know, just on the top of my head when I read it. Basically, in February 2009, they were having a big ceremony for this giant ship called the Macross. Basically, they made it into like a giant immigrant ship. When all of a sudden, that at the same time, they were getting attacked. They got attacked by an unknown flying fleet, and pretty much devastated their whole city. So they decided to fled with the ship of the Macross, and about 50,000 people. They fled into Pluto via space holding. Space holding is pretty much, you know, damn, what's that Star Wars thing called? Jumping into hyperspace, kind of. That's space holding for them. And this movie takes place a few months after that. That's pretty much all you get from the story, guys, from the get-go. So if I had to sum this story up without spoiling anything for you guys, basically we follow a young man named Hikaru. And basically all we can see is he is a rookie pilot of the Macross. And basically one day the Macross actually got attacked internally by the enemy aliens called the Centrati. And they just start shooting up the place, you know, destroying things, and all of a sudden, one of the Centrati aliens grabs one of the females, which you couldn't find out her name is Min-Mei. Hikaru manages to save her, and pretty much they get trapped along the ship because the ship's kind of blowing up, so they have to border some stuff in order, you know, for air not to leak out, or, you know, people getting sucked out of, you know, space. And these two soon start forming a bond with each other, like probably, I think it's going on like a few days with each other, get to know one another, and they start forming a relationship. Later in the film, like, we get introduced to an officer named Misa. Misa is pretty much the head of the Macross fleet. She gives the orders and everything. Hikaru doesn't really seem to have any. You know, they're not really in good terms because Hikaru, again, he's a rookie. He's kind of reckless, especially when he takes one of the jets out into space without any permission. So Misa, along with Hikaru's friend Roy, sorry I forgot to mention in this film, that's kind of one of the issues of the film. Basically, they get Hikaru pretty much in the middle of, you know, trying to impress Minmay in space. You know, Misa's like, why are you taking the ship without permission? Then all of a sudden, unfortunately, the Zentradi have randomly attacked them out of nowhere and captured Minmay and them and all of them. And at that point, we start learning about the Zentradi. This is the same alien fleet that attacked them on February 2009 during that ceremony. The Zentradi just have some weird questions. They start asking, you know, why are male and female, you know, why are you guys coexisting with each other? Why aren't you guys fighting? And Misa and everyone else starting to realize that these aliens they've been fighting for a while now, they're not the same as them. But again, despite their questions, they don't think male and female should be together, you know, coexisting, and for them, fighting seems normal to them, like always fighting, and they seem kind of curious. At one point, one of them mentions that, like, what's with that whole intimate interaction, you know, called a hug, and they get weirded out by it. Like, they're just like, what the hell? And then at one point, they requested one of them, Minmay, to kiss or what simulate a kiss, and when they do it, they don't seem to grasp. The Zentradi don't seem to grasp human interaction or human relationship that well. But besides that, at this point, then later, Roy manages to get his mech back and gets his mech back and pretty much tries to help Hikaru save Minmay. When all of a sudden, Hikaru and Misa end up at another planet by accident. And then they soon start forming a kind of a bond together, because at this point they're stranded. They don't know how to get home. They don't know where they're kind of located, at least for the moment. And they're just stranded. And at this point in the film, guys, I think that's pretty much all I could say from there. Besides then Hikaru and Misa start forming a bond. Hopefully that whole thing just to kind of make sense, because again, this movie is summarizing a 36 episode anime. Technically not a lot by anime standards, to be honest with you. It's probably a really short anime. But for a film, that's a lot. But that's pretty much all I could say from there without spoiling anything. God, I'm happy that I'm done with that part of this review. Throughout as I'm watching this film, again, lights off with my projector out. My God, this film is just gorgeous, guys. Like, this thing reeks of the 80s. The music, the mechs, just the artwork itself is just gorgeous, guys. And this movie moves at a fast pace. I think it's about an hour and 55 minutes. And let me tell you something. I don't usually I don't know. I'm not so like anal about turning the lights off while watching a movie, but this time I kind of highly recommend it. And for this, guys, I'm gonna have some footage right here. I can't really play audio because just a quick side note. The girl that voiced Minmay was also a pop idol, so anything she sings, I could get copyright, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, look at this, guys. It is lighting up my dang room. And this film, again, just from without having any connection, just not watching the anime at that point. I got the story pretty well, guys. To be quite honest with you, it was very simple to follow, and it was very interesting, just because, again, they're fighting these aliens called the Zentradi, and the thing is you do actually, what I forgot to mention while talking about the story is, there are female versions of the Zentradi. They're known as the Meltradi. but they don't work together. They're kind of fighting against each other. All these two sexes, all they know is to fight. That's all they do. That's all they know. And it's just weird how, and it's interesting that they just get freaked out by like any emotional interaction. They don't know how to, handle it. And at this point, I think it was just a little, it was a little different for me, than most anime protagonists at that point. But the fights in this, guys, are just awesome. Honestly, you just see like these missiles with smoke trails like following them, like zipping around. It's just crazy. And it's pretty gory at some points. This film, but like these jets are just flying fast, and just the sounds and everything. I was just really shocked. Again, I'm watching this in the dark in my projector, so my eyes are just like wide, just watching this film, like just at awe. And again, I wasn't bored at any point of this film. I didn't think it really dragged that much. And as of this recording, guys, I watched this last night prior to this recording. I have literally watched this about 6 times, and right now, and I think I have to rewatch it again when I do the part 3 of this video series. This is the 6th time, and I'm going to have to watch it again, and I'm still not bored. It is so entertaining, guys. Honestly, I really do like this film. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned there was a dub. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Come closer. Just a bit. Okay? Watch it with the subtitles only. The dub is... No, honestly, this dub is shit. Prior to, actually, after watching this, guys, I was, at this point, I was doing research about this. Like, how come it never came out here? Actually, it did. It did come out here in the US. Because I remember my cousin told me, like, it didn't really see release out here. It did. In a form of... you know what? I'm probably gonna explain this. There's actually 2 films that came out here to represent a Macross movie. Although one of them is called the Robotech the movie, but that movie, Robotech the movie, is not a real Robotech movie. They just skinned it. They did a reskin and just called that. That movie is called Megazone 2-3. It is called Megazone 2-3. And then there's the actual film. Macross, Do You Remember Love? It did get released here only once on VHS, possibly twice, but only on VHS. But it was called A Clash of the Bionoids.
Really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
And here's the thing. Well, prior to looking up the research about this Clash of the Bionoids, they just really grabbed anyone to do dubs for this. It's just terrible, guys. I'm gonna have some examples right here.
Who's talking? I saved you before, remember? A man and a woman. What's that? A man and a woman. Do you really love him, eh?
Oh, that's nonsense. It's only a TV show. It's a PR story.
Oh, really? It looked real. To me, it looked real. You've been drinking. So what? You can still fight when you're drunk.
Hikaru,
Huh?
I've loved you for a long time. Tell me you love me. Oh, but you don't love me.
I do.
You really mean that, do you?
I mean it. I love you.
I'm so happy.
Oh.
I love you.
Yeah, see how bad that is? Like, that's just cringe. Ugh, terrible. So and the thing is, what's crazy about that dub is supposedly it was, I guess it was released the second time with subtitles, but here's the thing: it still had the shitty dub. It was cut. The film was cut a little bit, and supposedly it was also used as to train the Japanese to speak English. Why? I guess they could have put more effort. I don't know. That's all I can look up, guys. But yeah, if again, listen. If you can't watch it with if you can't stand subtitles, I understand. I prefer dub just because I like to watch I love anime artwork, and this film is gorgeous, so I want to keep my hands on it. But to be quite honest with you, the dub is the only thing I can say is passable. It's kind of close to the subtitles, not really. Especially not really, because there's actually a scene where someone dies in this film, and the thing is, Hikaru, instead of mourning, like, you know, screaming,
No!
he whines like a dang little bitch, screaming, "Minmi!" But in the subtitles, in the original Japanese, he was screaming "senpai" in the film, so it just made him look like a whiny simp. And it just awkward, just because his friend just died in front of him. So I thought that was a little awkward. But besides those little nitpicks that, you know, but anyway, if you can't watch it with the subtitles and you need to watch it dub, the dub is okay. Just know it's gonna be shit. Just take it how it is. Don't take it too seriously. But trust me, it's just bad. I prefer just reading subtitles. Again, since we're talking about we're kind of going to the negative. Also, again, like I said prior, this film is a summary, pretty much a summarized version, a condensed version of the 36 episode anime. And most people, most anime fans would hear that, or you would hear that and be like,
Ew.
they probably like tore it to shreds. It probably has no respect for the original. Probably cut out a lot of stuff. Here's the thing though, and actually one more thing. With those negatives, again, you're not getting the full story, and you're not getting some of the side stories I think are personally important. Some characters that are beloved to the show are kicked to the side, and some deaths are kind of brief. They don't really, you know, react to how normal people would react, if that makes sense. I'll go into it later for part 3 and also mentioning in part 2. But again, those are the dub, and that are very minor nitpicks, because overall, guys, again, a lot of people you guys are out probably watching this cringing, saying that like, okay, so then maybe I should just watch the series. Here's the thing, and this is me saying it now watching Macross. This movie actually is a great adaptation. Some might say better than the show. And hold up for those of you that have seen Macross already. The only reason I'm saying this is because, listen, at the end of the day, if you were to watch Macross, it is the love triangle between Hikaru, Misa, and Minmay. It is a love story through and through. And to be honest with you, they do fix some stuff that I had negatives about the show. Again, don't really want to go into it. I'm going to be honest with you. This show should have stopped at episode 26. Don't get me wrong, there's some cool episodes happen after episode 26, but overall they kind of told the story that they had to tell. In my opinion, I'll go over that once I talk about the series in part 2, and again more detail in part 3. But yeah, to me, like, it does fix a couple of issues, especially with some characters. And again, I just think, even though I think in my heart Macross is Super Dimension Fortress Macross is a classic, I think it'd be hard for me to sell people on the show than the movie. The movie, it has great animation, has great everything. I don't think it replaces the original series for me, but to be honest, I'd probably go to the movie more than the series, just because, again, it's just one solid movie. And to be honest, if at least will spread the word about Macross, you know, what's the harm in it? I really do think it is. I really do think this film I would recommend people more than this series, just because it will be easier for people to get into. And again, the show is, don't get me wrong, I love the show, but it's kind of dated. Oh, speaking of which, as you can see when I'm holding my hand, yes, it's a Blu-ray. Guys, again, with those negatives aside, I really love this movie, guys. Again, I watched it 6 times. I've not gotten tired of it. And after watching it, guys, I was looking for a Blu-ray, and to get an official Blu-ray is stupid. And this is also counting the series Macross on Blu-ray. It is stupid expensive, and for what I see, there's no English subtitles for them, unfortunately. Luckily, I saw an eBay seller. They ripped it, and they added they pretty much put their own subtitles on it, and they made a physical copy of it, guys. I'm not gonna put the seller on here just because I don't want him to get in trouble. And so, if you guys are gonna watch this film and you want to own it later, I can't tell you who it is, but I can tell you I paid about like $34.99, and to be honest with you, it is well worth the money. It has, I think, 2 different subtitles, and it also has the English dub. However, the English dub for this, I think, again, in the original release of the English dub, they cut down the film a little bit, so you could hear some background noises, but from something else. And the seller on the site left a note when you buy this. He said, like, if you had any issues with the Blu-ray, you could always email him, and he could probably fix it for you or send you another copy. So I think that's really nice. However, though, if you just watch it on with the subtitles, there's nothing wrong with it. It is literally clean. It is the best picture quality, and this is the only way to get it officially on Blu-ray, at least. So yeah, I went to that length to own this film. That should tell you how much I love it. And you know what? You want to show you how much I'm in love with this film? I own the Laserdisc.
What the hell is that? A record?
A Laserdisc is like a giant DVD.
What the hell's a DVD?
A DVD is the precursor to the Blu-ray.
No one knows what that is, bro.
What do you mean they don't know what Blu-ray is? Like, for God's sakes, like, don't we still have like 4K discs?
It's all about the subscriptions and digital, bro.
Oh god. Anyway, but yeah, like, I love this film so much, guys, that I literally went out just to get a Laserdisc. I don't even have a Laserdisc player, but just to own it officially, I went and got this. And this, again, officially, this is only released in Japan, and we only got it in VHS, but it's a terrible version of it on VHS. So I really got this. I love the artwork on this. The back is just great. I'm just happy to have it in my hands, at least an official copy. I'm that in love with this series, guys. Some would say obsessed at this point. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Here's the thing: I haven't done a movie review in a good while because not many new movies are getting released in theaters. There's stuff coming out on instant, they're coming out instantly on digital. But I don't know, it's just something about it. I kind of been back and forth about adding scores, just because I noticed on my older reviews, like how I scored them, seems a little off. Like you didn't know if you should watch it or not. Is it bad? Is it great? So I'm just gonna give you my flat out opinion going forward if I ever review films further. But overall, guys, Macross Do You Remember Love is a fantastic adaptation of the Super Dimension Fortress Macross series. It is great. It is a spectacle to behold. Listen, I'm gonna show you an image, and it's of my face watching this film. But if you could zoom in, I'm just gonna show you my glasses. Literally, watch this in the dark, guys. Seriously, your whole room will light up with like lights, lasers, and everything, missiles, and crank up the volume just so you can hear the music. Because the finale, I can't stress this enough, is probably not. It's gonna go down as one of my favorite finales to a film of all time. that's all I'm gonna say, guys. I'm gonna leave it at that. So I dare not show you the finale because it's just grand. And also just to say, Akira was actually my most favorite, one of my favorite films. I won't lie to you. If we're gonna compare the two, listen, if we're gonna talk about, you know, visually, in animation, Akira probably has it, you know, best tenfold. However, if I'm gonna say story-wise, I like Macross Do You Remember Love more. This has become one of my favorite anime films of all time. Yeah, so Akira is, I'm sorry Akira, I love you, but you're behind. That's how much I love this film, guys. So, I kind of almost forgot. You can actually watch this, and if you're wondering, again, I kind of been explaining, you know, me trying to get a physical copy of this. You're probably wondering, how can I watch this? It's actually, you can actually watch it on YouTube. Yeah, there's a subtitle version, and then there's the English dub version. However, guys, just keep in mind that, again, you can't really watch. The only reason we have to watch it through YouTube, unfortunately, is because due to licensing issues, the company that made Macross, basically, they had another company named Harmony Gold license, you know, do the distributing rights in America for Macross. So unfortunately, though, Harmony Gold has a notorious history. There's a bunch of YouTubers out there that'll cover it more than I can. Let's just say they're a little notorious, and they're the reason why we will never probably get an official US version of this film or Super Dimension Macross series. Luckily though, the series is actually on YouTube. Sorry, not yet. Well, it is kind of on YouTube, but it's actually officially on Amazon Prime as we speak right now. However, the movie, unfortunately, you're going to probably have to watch it on YouTube. But yeah, both the subtitle and English version are up there. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Okay, I think that's everything, guys. This was kind of a mouthful to, and again, I know I have jump cuts, but that was a mouthful to cover for part 1. But let me know in the comments below, guys. Are you planning on watching Macross Do You Remember Love? Are you planning on watching the series first? Again, I'm really happy to cover this in a 3-part series. Again, next part 2 will be on the original series this film was based off of, which is Super Dimension Fortress Macross, and its English cousin, Robotech. That'll be in part 2. So, as of this recording, guys, I'm starting to watch Robotech. So, it's going to be a little while, so you're going to have other videos in between now and part 2. So, but I'll keep you posted when that's ready. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys. What'd you think of this review? Are you planning on watching Macross Do You Remember Love? Have you already seen the series already? What'd you think? Comment below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Kimochi.